start a war. What you think that I've been fighting for? Got a cape on like a superhero. They rushing at me like a matador. Nah, I don't need your energy. I don't need the negativity. I'm just trying to bring my people up. Promise y'all I got the remedy. Straight to the roof, tell them we bringing the troops. We got a little surprise, you thinking that we ain't the truth. We keep it 120, we never make an excuse. So go run and tell everybody doubting that we coming for you.
What is up, guys, for this Friday? Friday noon, we're back with another episode. We've increased some of our production value, so hopefully you guys enjoy it, which has been a task, let me tell you that. Between Nick and I taking this to the next level, it's caused some interesting conversations. So hopefully everything looks good. This is more along the lines of the quality of the videos that we make. Anybody out there that's been following along, and it looks like Nick's confirming we're on YouTube and LinkedIn. Started a couple minutes later so that way we can get people in here before we start off the show. So yeah, today, as always, on Fridays, noon Central Standard Time, coming in with some live conversations. Supposed to be a 30-minute show. Last one went almost 50. I'm going to be taking some sips of water in between so that way I stay hydrated myself. So yeah, we're just going to go until there's nothing left to talk about, until there's, no more comments to go through and things like that. We'll go as long as we can. The time is blocked. And it looks like Nick's confirming we're on Facebook too. So everything's good to go. So Friday before Thanksgiving break, for those that celebrate it. Today I want to talk about omnipresence. So omnipresence, if we look at the definition of omnipresence, I'm going to pin it here in the chat. And let me pull it up. So it's an adjective, and it basically means present everywhere at the same time. That's all it is. Present everywhere at the same time. That's what we're shooting for, right? At least I am. I don't know about you guys and gals out there, but think about sales, think about marketing, think about brand, think about your business, whether you work for a company, you own your own business, whatever it is. If the ideal state is being everywhere all at the same time, then it's our job to reverse engineer, well, how do you get there? Now, can you physically be everywhere all at the same time without getting into the religious talks? No, you physically can't. But virtually, can you? And can you have such a presence out there that people come across your stuff and know who you are without you ever talking to them? And so this is something that I kind of started down this journey a few years ago, with trying to build up my brand, trying to get the word out about what it is that we do, trying to provide value as much as possible to people, getting confirmation that people are getting that value. And so if you're tuning in and you're live right now, and whether you're watching this on the replay, do me a favor and hit the share button. On LinkedIn, I know that there's a share button, and Facebook. I'm not sure how YouTube works, but share it out there. Send it to your network. Send it to people that you know. Let other people know if you find value out of these shows that we're doing. Hit that share button. Let me see some of those blue thumbs on LinkedIn go up, some likes, so that way we can get some more engagement from you guys. I know you're there. We've seen the stats. So as always, be sure to leave comments in the comment section, and we'll go through them and we'll throw them up on the screen and answer them one at a time as we go through the content. But going back to the subject, omnipresence. So how do you become omnipresent everywhere all at the same time? It comes down to some things we've talked about in other live events and a lot of my other videos that are out there on YouTube about being uncomfortable and creating content and doing the things that others won't do. And so if that's the end goal, if the goal is to get your company, who you work for, the company that you own, whatever it is, out there all at the same time, then you have to create a lot of stuff. And so a lot of people aren't comfortable with video. I wasn't comfortable with video when we first started. Eventually it's muscle memory and you get used to it, but it all comes down to creating content. And it all comes down to creating, whether it's messages, posts, articles. Everybody has their own way of their comfort zone of what they're trying to do. But if we take a step back and look at it from a business standpoint, and especially for my industrial and manufacturing network out there, everything's usually just the same way that we've been doing it, right? And everybody's in their comfort zone, and nothing good's going to come from being comfortable. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's your personal life, business life, whatever. Nothing good, nothing can, no greatness can be achieved when you're comfortable. When you're comfortable, you're relaxed. You're not on offense or defense. You're kind of just neutral. Nothing good is going to happen from just being neutral. You've got to pick one direction. And so going towards that goal of omnipresence um, really starts with just the first thing is you got to make the decision that you want to go down that path, and not to mess with the timing of this or anything. But coming up to the new year, a lot of people are going to wait to do things until New Year's resolution, right? But there's no reason it can't be, Friday the 19th resolution that's starting today, starting this moment, starting tomorrow. I'm going to continuously work towards being omnipresent. And what are the steps that I need to take to get there? Because a lot of people say, okay, I'm in, you got me, I'm sold. What do I have to do? And so the first step is going to be acknowledging the fact that, and making that statement that my goal is to become more omnipresent. And my goal is to build my brand and build my pipeline if you're in sales, and build my company if you own it, um, in whatever fashion it is, and you're trying to grow it. And so the omnipresence comes in, and once you make that decision, everything that you're going to do is going to be focused around that. And so the more people that you tell about it, they can hold you accountable. But at the end of the day, you really just need to hold yourself accountable. So first thing is acknowledge, make the decision. Like, look, I'm right. Like last year sucked. This year sucked. I keep on saying I'm going to do things. I'm not doing them. This time is different. I want to go towards this goal. The next thing that you have to do in step 2 is you have to get out of the zone of comfort. Because like I said, nothing great. I shouldn't say nothing good. Nothing great comes from being comfortable. The greatest people in all facets of life, business, personal development, everything, always great things came from them being uncomfortable. And that's really where you have to be. And so creating content is the driver of that, because how are people going to know you? Right. You can have followers on social, you can have stuff out there, but if you're not creating anything, you're not going to grow your followers. If you're not creating anything, you're not going to provide value. Whether it's text, articles, posts, videos, whatever it is, you have to start somewhere. And so, with so many people out there, and the world is so noisy with experts and gurus and things like that, what I always tell people to do is whoever you think is a subject matter expert in anything, look at what they're doing, look at what they've built, look at what they're doing, and see, are they taking their own advice? Are they doing what they tell others to do? And I would never tell anybody to do something that I'm not willing to do myself, because I've been at the very bottom and I've been higher up. And so take a look at just using our stuff as an example, and kind of my process and walking you through it. So even look at these lives that we've been doing. So a few years ago, we started creating video content. Actually, no, going back, I think it was 4 years ago, created the first video. It was just me shooting the video, had somebody edit it. It was okay. Then I was like, all right, I'm getting some sort of feedback. It's good value. I'm starting to get my content starting to get recognized out there. So let me take it up to that next level. And then we get a team. And so now we're shooting videos with higher quality stuff. Then we've got a team. Then we've got better editing, better content planning. And that really started about I think it was 2.5 years ago. And I just went all in, and I said, I'm going to do this. And then fast forward to where we're at today. Today, our content is better. Our quality is better. We've got a studio within our office that is dedicated to it. It's no longer anybody that's been following my content from the last couple of years. It's no longer the couch in the office that we used to have, which was just a futon. It's now a studio. Take a look at these lives that we've been doing. This is the third live. The first one was with, a high quality webcam. Then we start trying to increase the production value. We get a little bit of feedback that you guys find this enjoyable and that there's good content there. And so we're just taking it up and up and up. So now in the third episode we've transferred over from webcam into our normal camera equipment that we use for all of our stuff and all of our client stuff. And so taking a step further from there, after this episode, I'm trying to get out there, and I want my name known in the industrial and manufacturing space, that the content that we produce and the brand that I have and all that stuff is is somewhat of an authoritative figure in what's going on in industrial. How do you grow your sales in industrial? How do you do technical sales? That's what all the content's about, because my goal is to help as many people as possible and as many companies as possible. So taking this live example, episode 4 is next Friday, and I'm not even going to be in town. We'll probably shoot, show number 4 earlier in the week next week. So it most likely won't be on Friday. But taking a step forward, we're meeting internally, and we're like, okay, we shoot a video, it gets good traction. LinkedIn provides value. It's growing the YouTube channel. Then we create micro content video from it, post it elsewhere. People like it. It's engaging. It's still providing value. How do we take that even a step further? And so talking internally, we're like, what if we just did more lives? I mean, right? Like if you do something that provides value, then instantly you have to decide that I want to do more of that. And how do I increase the frequency to provide that value? Whereas a lot of people will say, we're going to try this for 3 weeks. We're going to try this for 3 months. We're going to try this for 3 years, whatever it is, and see, and then make minor changes. But if your goal is becoming omnipresent, you have to make changes immediately. You have to take action immediately, and you have to make the commitment that you're going to go after your goal. And so moving forward, we've talked about increasing the frequency of the shows. And so most likely going to be going to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday live shows where each week there's going to be a different topic, but that falls in line with the goal of me becoming omnipresent, right? And helping as many people as possible. So take that and apply it to your own situation. So if you're in technical sales, how do you become omnipresent? Well, you can't just focus on your company brand, because you can't focus on your company to do the work for you. You have a personal brand at that company. And so it's all up to you to create content, to engage, to make posts, to share pieces of content, to educate people, direct messaging, going to trade shows, all that stuff, because you want your personal brand to stand out, right? Because that's something that you don't ever lose, unless, well, you could lose it if you do a bad job suddenly, then you've got a different personal brand. But for the most part, that stays with you, and that's valuable to employers. And so if something ever happens at the company you work at, you can be like, dude, like, you're not taking care of me, you're not supporting me. I've got a decent network. I've built a lot of stuff here. So I want to take this out and go to another company and go to a competitor, and it's going to be worth a lot of money. And so you're constantly focusing on your personal brand while you're working for another company, which is providing you value of getting, revenue and getting your pipeline full, and then also helping the company that's your employer and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you're building your own personal brand, and most people don't think of it like that. So you can't rely on your company to just do all the work for you. You have to take a step up and put your flag in the sand and say, I'm going all in. I'm going to do it right now. And so it's got to start with a piece of content. And we've talked about this so much, and I don't want to beat this horse to death, but this is what works right now. And even if you're listening to this, you may be nodding your head and agreeing and saying, yep, that I know that's what works. I agree with him 100%, but then you don't take action. And that's what you have to do. Now, like, ideas are great, but if you don't take action, nothing gets created. And so that's from a technical sales standpoint. From a marketing standpoint, it's the same thing. You're trying to build your company brand. You're trying to get more people to recognize it. You're trying to get more traffic to the website. You're trying to get more people that leads that you can pass over to the sales team. But the only way to do that is to go all in and be like, I'm going to start doing something. I'm going to test it, which is exactly what we did with this show. We tested it. I didn't promote it. I just posted one time on LinkedIn. And I've got over 17,000 people that follow me, and posted one time and said, hey, we're going live in like 3 days on Friday. And I went into expecting nobody was going to be there. There was like, I don't know, 7-10 people that showed up. All right, cool. Next one from last week, more people showed up. All right, cool. Start getting some engagement. So I'm doubling down, tripling down. Like you test it slightly, but then you have to make decisions quickly to adjust and say, this worked. Now, how do I take it a step further? Or this didn't work. Let's stop it right now. And so from a marketing standpoint, if you're in charge of marketing, or if you own a company that's doing marketing, you have to like put both feet in the water, like just jump in and make the decision and start creating content and analyze it extremely quick. Like you cannot wait weeks and weeks and weeks and stuff for approval. You have to do something analyze the data, make adjustments if you need to, test theories, throw out some variables, see what works and what doesn't, and then from there make your decision on what you want to do next, but then implement it immediately. And that's really what you from Grucey. Hello, Kyle. Throw it up on the screen. Thanks, Nick. What's going on, brother? And so that's really all that we're focusing on, right? I mean, it should be. If it's not, then this isn't going to resonate with you. But if you're focusing on omnipresence, you have to do it every single day. And if you want somebody to take a look at what I'm trying to do with MFG Tribe, and take a look at the changes that we're making and the things that we're doing and the events that we're holding and the lives. Just take a look at my LinkedIn profile. Every single day we post to my LinkedIn profile, right? We do a post. And this is where I'm saying, don't just take the words that I'm saying in the videos we create and be like, okay, Kyle says to do this. Just look at what I'm doing. LinkedIn is the most important for us, right? As a business, we don't get a ton of good things coming out of Facebook, but we get stuff out of YouTube and LinkedIn. And so look at what I'm doing on a daily basis is sending a post to LinkedIn. And then I'm part of, I don't know, 24, 26 strategic groups on LinkedIn. That same post gets posted to all 24 to 26 of those groups every single day. Every day. And it's not as easy as just doing a post and clicking send it to all these people. You have to actually post it in there. So we're doing 26, 27 posts a day just on my personal brand. Because there's people in those groups that don't see my stuff from my homepage, that don't, like, we're connected or they follow me, but they don't see it because they've got other stuff in their feed. So we're trying to go after omnipresence, right? So we post to those groups every single day. And people think, dude, you're just going to be annoying. You're just going to, you're just going to be focusing on beating people up and spamming people until they watch their stuff. I mean, people choose whether or not they want to stop when they're scrolling, right? So if you're part of 20 of the groups that I belong to, and you see my stuff on LinkedIn and you see the same post 6 different times in a day, I mean, it is what it is. You just scroll past it. I have had people comment, and you're going to get some people that comment negatively saying, I see this guy too much. Okay, then, I'm sorry. We're not posting more than once in a group in a day. It's just one post. It's not my fault that not many other people post anything valuable in those groups, right? Sometimes there's awesome content. Sometimes there's just a whole bunch of BS. But look at what I'm doing, and then just, I'm doing it for a reason. We don't do things if it doesn't work. And my goals and what I'm trying to do with my personal brand and MFG Tribe and TSU and how we're trying to just blow it up and dominate it, regardless if that's not what you're looking to do. If your ultimate goal is to get more awareness, then this is how you do it. And as it doesn't work, as strategy adjustments need to be made, we make them. And so do you. And so should you. Hopefully you are doing them, but most people don't. So hopefully looking at that from an inspirational standpoint is, like I said, don't just do what I say to do. Don't just follow other people, influencers and things like that. And they're saying, oh, you should do it like this. You should do it like that. Look at to see what people are actually doing. And are they drinking their own Kool-Aid? Are they taking their own advice? Or are they just somebody that's just going to say to do things, but not actually do them? And so if you're going after that, trying to grow something, there's no avoiding the steps. Like everybody in the world has what you want, right? From the standpoint of, you need customers, you need somebody to buy your product. That comes from another person. You need somebody to sign up as a client. You need somebody to buy your equipment. It comes from a person. The only way that you're going to get in front of those people is by creating content. I mean, that's it at the end of the day. And most people rely on their company's brand and their own, what am I going to say? Their own reputation in the industry to feed them information, feed them leads, feed them qualified stuff, or be able to just say, hey, yeah, I work for this company, and somebody be like, oh yeah, I know them. But just assume that they don't. And don't rely on other people to do it. You have to take the bull by the horns and say, I'm going to start creating content, whatever it is that you're not comfortable with, whatever it is that's between ridiculously uncomfortable, like sweating a million bullets and will never do it, and this is easy for me to do. Usually there's a middle ground there to where it's in the middle of your comfort level, and that's where you can really take a step up and excel there. So I know we've had some comments come through. Nick, if you want to throw Grucey's comment back up there. So question, should money be a source of motivation when you go into sales? Grucey, I appreciate that coming in from YouTube. Everybody's got their own motivation. If why else would you go into sales? Because you want to help people. That's fine if that's your motivation. Um, Money can motivate most people, but it doesn't have to be the ultimate motivator. What's your own motivation? If you're like, look, I work for a company, we sell a product or a service, I truly believe in it, which you have to believe in what you sell. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to sell it. You're not going to be able to convince people that you even believe what it is that you're selling, and you're going to be a bad salesman. But if you're like, I truly believe in the good that we're doing, then as long as you get people that respond back and say, yes, this worked, thank you so much, then that might be your solution. I mean, for me personally, I'm looking to do two things at once. I'm looking to build value to people and help people along the way and build their brand, and also grow my own business, right? Because I'm in a service business. So I was talking to somebody last week, and I was like, man, when I was like in my early 30s, when I was in my early 30s, I was like, I'm so sick of making other people rich, working for somebody else in sales, making them tens of millions of dollars, which the profit on that anywhere from 10 to 20%. I mean, millions of dollars a year. And I was like, I'm so sick of making other people rich. I'm going to go into business for myself, and I'm going to start this company. And what is it that we do? We make other companies money. I mean, there's no avoiding it. So, I mean, that was in my youth, and I was just, clouded in saying that. But that's what people say. I'm going to go work for myself and make myself wealthy. Well, I mean, that's great. And that's what, I mean, essentially I'm doing. But I do it by making other people wealthy first. Because if what I do doesn't work, then we're not going to get all the clients that we have in the repeat business. And so you're never around it, right? So what I do now is I make other people a lot of money and a lot of revenue, and that's what our agency does. And in turn, I get to grow my business from that. So does it have to be the only thing that gets you into sales? No. I mean, and if you're only in it for the money, that's fine. But eventually, it'll wear off if you don't love it. Ideally, you combine both of those things. It's something that you love to do, and you can make a lot of money doing it. And once you combine those two things, that's where, every single day when you wake up, you're like, this isn't even like a job. I love this. I don't think of this as work, you know? But I mean, I understand that there's a lot of people out there like, look, I just want to make a lot of money. Okay. Sales can do that. When I was younger, my dad said, I was probably like 14, 15. My dad said, the people that are richest in this world are not doctors, lawyers, dentists, things like that. It's either salespeople or business owners. Those are the people that make the most money. And I know now people might be like, no, cryptocurrency and investment and stuff like that. Yeah, I know that's become trendy over the last decade. But going back to 1996 when I was 14, it was business owners and sales. And salespeople make an insane amount of money. A lot of times we get too focused in our little box of like you're in SaaS sales, you're in industrial sales, you're a sales engineer, whatever, and you make 100, 200, 300. But then look at the pharmaceutical sales guys making 750. Look at the med tech device guys, people that do medical device sales making 500 to $1 million a year. It's small compared to other industries. And so I hope that answers the question. Got another Joe Glover. Oh, Aditya Sharma. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Recently got into the job where I'm basically in support every day by the end of the day. I think I can't take it anymore and should go for sales and business development rather. Yeah. So, on that point, salespeople need support, right? And you can learn a lot from supporting good salespeople. So it's good that you went into that role. But yeah, if your ambition is too high, man, and you want to go further, whether it's the things you're doing on a daily basis, or it's just your ambition with money and with building a family or whatever it is that you want to do and building wealth, then yeah, go after that. If you're ambitious and you don't settle and you're like in a position and you've done it and you've conquered it and you're that ambitious, then yeah, you're going to want to make that next move. So I would say 100% go for it. And it should be somewhat of an uncomfortable move. If it's super easy, then maybe you're just lucky. But usually it's not an easy move to just say, you know what, I'm going to go and try and do this other thing now. So I 100% agree with that. Joe Glover, there's no way you're a day over 30. Yeah, that I'm not. I'm 28 for sure. I just keep on repeating that birthday over and over and over again. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate you, brother. Um, and so yeah, you just need to figure out what it is that you want, which is like that's the question whenever anybody asks me anything about their job or in business. Um, I always start with like, what are you trying to accomplish, right? And then just reverse engineer it from there. And like, what do you truly want? What is it that you want to do every day? What is it that you want to achieve? If you're in sales and you want to achieve a lot of money and you want to buy things with that money, I mean, I'm not here to tell you what your goals should be. Live your own life, man. Live your best you. But you got to start with the end in mind and then just reverse engineer it from there. And I think most salespeople, like at the end of the day, if I told you that 7 billion people or whatever we're at now, between 7 and 8 billion people on this planet knew who you are and what you did, would that be beneficial? Right. And maybe some of you people you don't want people to know who you are and what you do, but is that beneficial? And if the answer is yes, then you're trying to go after omnipresence. It's that simple. So how do you do that? You get uncomfortable, create a lot of content, and put it everywhere and do it every single day. Aditya, but now a fresher, do it. I mean, MBA or something or not. I mean, it's a bit confusing. Yeah. So based on your, I mean, I'm a little bit bullish against the education system. And I know, depending on where you're at geographically and where you're watching this from, definitely leave some comments there. If you tell me where you're from, city, state, or country, let me know where you guys are watching from, and Nick will throw them up on the screen so we can kind of get a vibe for the geographic location. But um, in some countries, education is more important than in other countries. Going back 20, 30 years in the United States, education was extremely important. Nowadays, I'll hire people with no degree. I don't have a degree. I dropped out of high school like 5 credits short and got my GED, went to school part-time in engineering and technical stuff when I was 18 while I was working full-time as an engineering technician. Went to school for a couple years part-time, got into sales and then never went back. Um, but in your situation, sometimes it's a requirement. So I don't know. I mean, I would say personally, if the salespeople are anything, if the people hiring are smart, they would say you don't need a degree if you can prove that you can sell stuff. If you're getting into sales, you don't need a degree in anything. I mean, I've interviewed hundreds of people with marketing degrees from some of the quote unquote best schools, and guess what? They didn't teach them anything about marketing. A lot of times, they taught them about theory, they taught them about communication, but can you do this task in a short amount of time or learn it? Usually not. It's all got to be learned on the job experience. I didn't learn that in school, but I learned it at this job. So work experience for me is more important than a piece of paper. I want to know what can you actually do, not what were you taught and got good grades in. So I hope that helps. Coming from India, awesome. Grucy, I applied for a sales engineer position and I did not get the job. I'm currently in my second year of industrial engineering, probably low GPA. Does technical knowledge matter that much? Technical knowledge around what, I would say. And what were they looking for? I mean, you kind of got to look at what's the process that these companies try and hire you to do, right? Do they require you to know a certain amount of technical knowledge? Then that should answer your question. Me personally, I don't think it. I think that you need to have a foundational mindset of technical things to be in technical sales. So for like me, I didn't take a ton of classes in advanced calculus and things like that. But do I have a good mechanical? I would call it a mechanical aptitude. Do I know how things work mechanically and some electrically? But do I have a strong mechanical aptitude? Yes. So can you tell me something I can know what it understand what it means and then sell it? Yes, I can. But if you ask me to create a pulley system to lift this weight over here using this little string, and it has to be the least amount of weight to pull it from a leverage standpoint, no, dude, I'm not going to do that. But I bet you I could sell those pulleys and weights to people. And so yeah, I don't know about that specific situation, Grucy, but in your geographic location and your industry you're trying to go after, they may say, you know what, you can't come after this position unless you have a degree. If that's the cost of doing business, that's the cost of doing business. It sucks. You're going to go in debt. Usually people go in debt unless their parents paid for it. And you go into debt to then get a job that's not going to get you out of debt anytime soon. But there's a lot of things from a software standpoint, a lot of software salespeople, you can learn all that stuff online universities. You don't necessarily have to go to a standard school. But yeah, take my advice. Don't take my advice when it comes to schooling, education. Unless you've got a trade, unless you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, dentist, nurse, or unless you're going to go into architecture, engineering, things like that. Do you need a degree? Yeah. If you're going into sales, marketing, stuff like that, nope, I wouldn't do it. Waste of money, waste of time. I'd rather work and get experience. Because when I was 22 years old, I was making more money than guys from Purdue, which is one of the best schools of engineering in the country. And they were fresh out of school, and I was making more money with no degree. And that was not that long ago, as Joe Glover would say. But yeah, it hasn't changed much since then. If anything, education in the United States has become less important. So keep those comments coming in. And like I said, let me know where you're coming from, Joe. I know you're from the Midwest, but I would appreciate it if you throw it up there. So yeah, omnipresence. And so does that make sense to you guys? Some people may be watching this and be like, no, dude, that's not, I'm not trying to go after that. Okay. Then maybe, it's not a fit. But I think if at the end of the day, everybody knew you and whether you're buying something, selling something, marketing something, it would just make things easier. And in order to make things easier and more comfortable, you have to become uncomfortable. So doing things like shoot a video every single day. It's so easy these days. Write a post every single day on anything. Comment on people's stuff on LinkedIn every single day. Start a YouTube channel. You can learn everything you need to create a YouTube channel from other YouTube videos. Andreas coming in from Greece. I have family in Greece. I am Greek. I don't know where they are. Kenosha, Wisconsin. Oh, Joe. Hopefully things are going good there, man. I know it snowed in Chicago a couple days ago. Love Greece. Never been to Greece, but love it. Naveen, how's it going? Thanks, man. I appreciate those kind words. And that's all we're trying to do is give people motivation, inspiration, value. But yeah, like take a look at it this way. I started my agency 6.5 years ago, had a full-time job, did not know how to do websites. Guess what? I learned how to create a website. It took about a little bit over 100 hours. I added it up of watching YouTube videos. I learned how to make up my first website 6 years ago by watching YouTube videos on how to make a website. You can literally learn anything. And so if you want to start creating videos and you may think that internal voice inside your head is going to be saying, no, man, nobody wants to know what it is that you have to say. I used to say that too 2-3 years ago. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. And then you hire smart people around you that pull that information out. So let's take a look at this comment. How right is it to ask your customer in pre-sale stage about their budget for a project? Let's say web development. Dude, let me tell you something. I've got some good advice on that. Any company that talks to us at MFG Tribe, and we just brought on a new salesperson, so they'll be talking to her as well. The budget is the first question it's in the first conversation that I have with somebody. So this is how it works when I'm selling things. And I've got 2 calls today, and I'm going to do this exact same thing. Is what is it that you're currently doing? And I know we talked about this on last week's show too. What is it that you're currently doing? What are you looking to achieve? And how much budget do you have? Because I could provide you with a solution, and I could do what it is that you're asking me to do. But if you tell me that your budget is here and the budget needs to be 4 times that to do what I want to do, I don't even want to waste people's time and send you over a proposal. So I want to understand and kind of work backwards of, do you have like website development? Is it a $5,000 budget? Is it $10,000 budget? Because from a creative standpoint, I'm going to go down different paths. People may say, I don't really have a budget. Just send me over your number. But you got to have some sort of range. We've built websites that range from $4,000 to $400,000. This is like the pitch that you could use. And there's a lot of different things in there. And for you guys, I could take this in so many different directions. So if you can give me some sort of range, it helps us kind of shape the conversation and what we want to show you based on what type of range you're looking to do. Because you and I both know that websites can be drastically different. I mean, you could literally say the same pitch about anything, but I'm able to use it for websites because we do it too. So I would ask that question in the first 3 questions. That's the question I'm looking for the answer to. The 2 calls I have later this afternoon, that question is going to be asked. The call I had with a company out in Michigan a while ago, I asked a question on the first call. It was a 40-minute discovery call. I asked a question. She was like, "Did you really just ask me what my budget is?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "You're the only agency that I've talked to that asked that on the first call." And I was like, "Yeah, well, I need to know. I can't take you down a path if I don't know what your budget is." She's like, "That's interesting." And then I said, "Look, I can give you a quote for $55,000 a month of marketing support. But if you tell me you only got $4,000 a month, then I'm going to shape the proposal around that. So you got to start somewhere." And then once I put it in those terms, she was like, "Okay, that makes sense." And then at the end, she just said, "My budget has a comma in it, I think." And so we'll see. You can put a lot of commas and numbers. And so, yeah, budget question. I always ask that. Joe Glover, what are your thoughts regarding manufacturing networking groups similar to Factor and other organizations that focus on connecting manufacturing sales reps together for yeah, I think that's important, Joe. I think it's good to get in those spaces. I think it's good to get your brand out there, your personal brand especially, because you've done a lot of good things on LinkedIn and you're getting more known, and you've worked at some good companies. I think that they are important. I feel like the times of manufacturing industrial people being like, I don't want you to know who my customers are. You're going to steal them. I feel like those times are over. And so I mean, a little bit over. I shouldn't say they're over because they'll never be over. But yeah, go to those events, get to know people. You never know, man. Like I said, every everything that you want in life can be can be achieved by meeting other people. Literally, there's nothing that you can check on. If you've got your list of your top 10 goals and accomplishments, you need other people in order to do that. So yes, 100% go to those events, go to the networking events, and don't just go there. Talk to people and network, and you never know what could happen. Grucy, Kyle, what are the side jobs I can do while in university that could potentially help me get into sales and preparing for sales? So that depends. Like side hustle, which we're going to start talking about on a show for small business and people that are trying to start small businesses. Um, it depends on what your skills are and what the market needs. You can go to the freelancer sites and see, do you have a skill that's valuable that people are willing to pay for? Most likely you do. Can you do web development? What things can you do remotely? Can you help people with back end data entry at a company that needs sales support? I mean, all those things. What you want, ideal situation, what you want to try and do is get into an organization or into a side hustle field that will then transfer into relevant on the job knowledge, training, experience, things that you can show people. So when you go for that job, you can be like, "Look, I just got out of school, but I had a side hustle where I was helping these companies do data entry, customer management systems, whatever. I did that for the last 3 years. I helped this many people, this much time." Like, people are going to respect that. So it depends on what your goal is. If you're strictly trying to apply it to sales, any sort of data entry, sales support, outbound lead generation, stuff like that, definitely do that on the side. Because once you get that job in sales, you're going to need to do that yourself anyway. So may as well perfect the process while you're doing it on the side and earn a little money while you're in school. Very true, Kyle. I feel like sometimes clients start exploiting you if you don't put budget in a very state of, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It all comes down to how much money you got. What are you willing to spend? I don't care, you guys that are in industrial stuff, selling custom stuff. You got to know what the budget is. I don't know how many I've asked that question thousands of times, tens of thousands of times over the last 15 years that I've been doing it, and it's got to be asked. You got to know what you're working with, and you got to see what you're working with to then develop the custom solution. It goes back to sales 101. First step is to gain the trust, but then you got to deliver a solution like we were talking about last week. In order for you to deliver a solution and not have it just be cookie cutter and like, here's go, you got to ask questions. What's your budget? because that answer is going to directly affect what I talk about next from a pitch standpoint, what I show you next from a demo standpoint, and what I create and put in the proposal. And if you tell me the sky's the limit, then guess what? You're probably going to not get the work because the other people that ask those questions are going to deliver exactly what it is that they wanted. And since you didn't, you won't. All right. I think that we're good on current comments. So if you got more comments, throw them in there. Oh, Naveen coming in clutch at the last minute. We're just going straight technical sales today. Technical sales engineer, I get to interact with the prospect only during the second meeting. First level of conversation always happens with sales teams. Yeah, I personally don't like how people do that, how companies do that, where you got like pre-sales and then mid-level and then closers. So if that's how it is, then try and shape like I would still go into it, assume nothing, right? You're looking at the notes of somebody else to talk to, somebody going into assuming like, yeah, I saw the notes, but I want to ask you my own questions. They're not going to care if you spend an extra 5 minutes, right? Like if your job is to take the ball down the field even further, maybe you can't close them because that's not in your job description, but whatever it is that you can do, ask the questions, get as much information as you can. And if you're not the person at the end of the day signs them up, close them for whatever it is that you're selling, then that person that does, if you're like, here's the golden goose. I've gotten asked all the questions. I've gotten all the information. Here it is in a piece of paper or it's in the system. They're going to love that. Jordan Ansley, when do you think LinkedIn management is? When you do LinkedIn management is for the company profile, individual sales rep. Yeah, so we do it for companies. So I don't do anything. Well, let me rephrase that. So the agency MFG Tribe gets a client, and we don't work with just one aspect of their marketing, but yes, what LinkedIn company page management is one of their one of the services that we do for them because we have to build the brand and create all the content, and also oftentimes we have 1 to possibly 2 salespeople at those companies that are like, look, dude, I'm swamped traveling and doing all this stuff. Like I can't do the outbound stuff. I can't send out the messages. I can't do the engagement. I can't do all that stuff. And then, yes, we do manage their own personal profiles where we log into their system. We pretend to be them. We build out their network. We create posts. We share stuff. We send out direct outbound messages of sharing the content, not some cheesy sales stuff. But yes, we do that. It's just whenever we talk to new people, it's like, do you want us to do the LinkedIn lead generation for you, or do you have somebody that's going to actually participate? If they say we want you to do it for us, it's just a matter of, is it just one person's profile? 2. Usually we don't go more than 2. So yes, we do that, and it works extremely effective and gets results like instantly. Makes sense. No problem, Jordan. Thanks for the comment, man. Rush Ward, should I offer my services for free to build relationships? Yes. Always. If you don't have experience, portfolio, client testimonials, things like that, you're building something from the ground up, offer it for free. If you're lucky, somebody will pay for you if they're willing to take a chance. If you can convince someone that what you do is going to provide a solution to whatever it is that they need, then they will pay you a little bit of money. But if you're just starting out, offer for free, build up that portfolio to prove to people, because like I said, the first thing in sales is trust. You can't build that trust for like, hey, have you ever done this before for people? You're like, nope. Can you show me some examples that you've done? Nope. Then you're not going to be able to build that trust and you'll never get sales. So walking into a company saying, hey, look, I'm starting this business or I'm starting this new thing in my business and I wanted to test it out. I'm willing to do it for you for free, just so that way I can get some feedback and I can use you as a testimonial if it works. Is that something that you're open to? Most people will say yes, unless you fumbled the pitch and they don't understand what it is that you're offering. So should you offer it for free? Yes. If you can't get people to pay it, then yes, you should offer it for free to a certain point and then start charging. Naveen, any tips on how to have a better discovery phase? Sometimes it's lame to follow the same thing over and over again. I mean, so like the discovery process should be pretty simple. If you're just trying to just like the conversation can evolve and shape just like how our lives go, right? Like, so we start with the content, we do the content, and then we start going through comments and the conversations shift. But there should be a basic boilerplate, right? You're trying to get the answer to 2, 3, 4 questions. It's that simple. depending on what it is that you do. I think that you said that you were doing the web development stuff. So you're trying to just get answers to that. And so, yeah, it should just be pretty basic, but feel free to add your own variation to that. You don't want it to become mundane where you're asking the literal same questions. But if you're trying to get, I mean, you could figure out 4 different ways to ask the same question. You could probably figure out 20 different ways to ask the same question. Work on your pitch, work on how you ask it, the interaction with them. But yeah, from a discovery standpoint, it's pretty basic. So getting the answers to those questions and how you ask them, you can control that, make it more fun, less boring. I hope that answers the question. I think that's what you're looking for. All right, brother. You got it. Looking forward to interact with you again and focus with, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. I'm never good with names. Actually, I'm not that bad, but I'm usually not that great. Yeah. Every Friday, come in here, 12 Central Standard Time, set your clocks. Don't be surprised if come a week from next week that we were doing it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is just going after that omnipresence, which is the subject of the show, right? I'm trying to help as many people as possible, regardless of where you're at. I can personally help you for free, creating content, sharing my experience, doing things like that. The agency can help you, your company, things like that. But once we see that we're getting some decent interaction, people are liking it, it's getting some good traction, let's double down, triple down. So the plan will be Mondays, there's a subject, something like small business discussions on Mondays, Wednesdays talking about marketing, Friday talking about sales. That's how the shows will start. That'll be the premise of it. Where the comments lead us, we will never know. Always surprised. So yeah, love the emojis. Thanks, Naveen. Stay tuned into it, brother. I appreciate it. Coming in from YouTube. And be sure to share and like this stuff and share it out there. If you're coming in from YouTube, hopefully you've already subscribed. If you guys are coming in through LinkedIn, Facebook, things like that, go to the YouTube channel. Tons of content. We're pushing all new content out every single week. Also putting a lot of our shorter videos out there under YouTube Shorts. So my channel is going to probably have over 500 videos up to it within the next, I'd say, 2 months. So that's where you can get all the past stuff for free. Technical Sales University. Definitely check that out if you're looking for some formalized training. Poke me on LinkedIn, message me. If you shoot me a message on LinkedIn and I don't respond, I mean no offense to that, because things get busy between MFG Tribe, which is an industrial marketing agency, which we're growing and booming right now, Technical Sales University, personal life. For those of you who don't know, married, 4 kids, I'm busy, and living in Austin while families elsewhere in Chicago and stuff like that, traveling a lot for business, traveling for pleasure, things like that. So if I don't get to your messages, then don't take any offense to that. Poke me again. Just shoot me another one saying, hey, I'm following up on this. I think you got it, Crucy. I appreciate it. So I think that's it. Nick, you good to go? Thumbs up. Can we get thumbs up from Nick? Thumbs up. Comments are good. Thank you all for joining. For those of you celebrating Thanksgiving, if I don't talk to you before then, which we probably will do a show early next week, then have a great Turkey Day for everybody else in the country, the world. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay tuned. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. And we will see you next week.
Gladiator in this art of war. What you think that I've been fighting for? Got a cape on like a superhero. They rushing at me like a matador. Nah, I don't need your energy. I don't need the negativity. I'm just trying to bring my people up. Promise y'all I got the remedy. Straight to the roof, tell them we bringing the troops. We got a little surprise, you thinking that we ain't the truth. We keep it 120, we never make an excuse. So go run and tell everybody doubting that we